Welcome back. I hope you had a good break. We've talked a lot about the variables and the operators, and both are valuable information that you need to understand. But now we're going to move on. We're going to call this little document that I've created, we'll rename it later. Right now, we want to create a new one. So I'm going to go up here, new, and we're wanting to now use the variables and operators. First off, we're going to create a page here that we can work with, and we want to rename this so that we're able to find it again. We're going to call this save as, let's call it um, variables.html. But delete the .txt. We don't want it as a text file. We actually want to be able to use this as a web page. And the period. So all lowercase variables.html, save. So now we're working here. All right. First thing, again, I'm going to pause the video and type this in, but you can also go in there. You might be able to find this already typed up for you, or it's just going to take a brief moment. So it would not hurt you at all to practice your typing like you do with your EduTyping, and go ahead and spend a moment and type this up. So we're going to pause for a moment, and then we'll move on from here. All right. So I'm almost through typing, but I wanted you to see a few things here that as I was working on it, and forgive me as I bounce back and forth. Here we go. Now, I want to wrap this up. I've typed most of this up here, and it's just a basic format that you see on all web pages. And I want to close that HTML. So /HTML. Notice how it's red because it's not complete, and then now it's done. So this is our core basics. I went ahead and I did put a title in here called variables, so don't hesitate to go ahead and do that. This is a great thing to go ahead and spend a few minutes to type it up. And then look right here. We're in the body. This is where we want to put our information. And since we're dealing with JavaScript on these variables and operators, that's what we need to first do is we have to put in our script tag. So again, the beauty of computers, we can go ahead and insert all this in here and leave space to add more later. Whoops. See how it's red, and then all of a sudden it's happy. So those red markings tell you there's a mistake. That's a hint to help you in making sure that you're a good coder and that you can do this well. Pay attention to that. Now, right here, we're talking about the script, and this is what we want to put in the script. And again, notice I'm here at the beginning of the script. I hit tab. I want to indent to help me keep track and find where things are. It's just easier on your eyes and easier to keep track of what you're doing when you pick it back up at a later time. So we're typing in the keyword telling the computer I'm working on a variable. We're typing in the variable name. Notice how we're using the capital letter on the second word, even though there's no spacing, no underscore, no characters, punctuation. Now, so we're typing in 300. Now, whoops, wrong one. Remember, this is our assignment operator, and this is our variable. So we got to keep all this straight in our head. But now, we've created a variable between the opening and closing script tags. Give your variable a name and use the assignment operator, which we did. And then we're going to try a number. Don't forget that JavaScript is case sensitive, just like HTML. And make sure that you keep the cases the same in your code block. Also remember the semicolon at the end. That tells that I'm through. And okay, so if you save your HTML file and open it in your browser, nothing will happen. We've stored this 300, but let's take a look at that. So if we go ahead and we make sure we remember, if we've got that little asterisk there, that means it hasn't been saved. So let's just hit save. Now we're in good shape. If I come back up here on this one, I haven't saved it either. So let's go save as, and we're going to leave it a text file, but we'll call it variables and operators. All right, and then hit save. Now that's a little bit better for us, okay? We're going to take a brief pause here. I will be right back. Welcome back. I apologize for the interruption there. I needed to take my dogs out. So here we go. So we've created this extra page that we've called variables.html. The key here is we want to view it. We want to see what we've put in here because we've got this title. Here in the header, we've got our script, which is a variable. We want to see what have we done. So again, we make sure that we save it as HTML. We have it here. We don't have the asterisks. So now we want to go up here and save as. This time, we want to put it in our downloads so that we can view it. So we just click on downloads. You got variables.html and then hit save. Now, I've already done this, but I'm going to hit OK anyway. Now it's there, but I'm still not able to see it. Again, I go down here to my Files button. Remember, we're doing this on a Chromebook. If you were doing it or working on it with Windows, go back and follow the steps that you were given for Windows in Mission 1. As I click here, though, oops, there it is. My mistake. Hold on, let me drag it over here. Here we go. So I can see that file here in my downloads. When I right click on it, I have a view option. When I click on view, it opens it up. Now notice up here at my header, the title, it says variables, but I don't see anything. That's okay. That's what it's supposed to do. So you haven't done anything wrong yet. We're still making progress. Remember, pay attention to the details and you can make this work just fine. So back over here. So now you've got the variables set up. You've typed that in. You've typed in the carets. Now, what we want to do is don't forget that it's case sensitive and keep the case the same in your code block. So it needs to be the all lowercase. It's just the safer way. But also remember, you have to have the semicolon on the end. Let's go back here, just like that. That says I'm through with that command. Okay, then you saved it as HTML. Now we want to use the alert function to make your variable, to make sure it's stored in your browser. So underneath the variable, you want to type in alert. So watch this. Right here, we got this blank line. You can add that if you don't already have it. Alert, diamond, carets. Now again, notice we've got our parentheses before and after. And then we're using that semicolon to say I'm through with that alert. So you're now asking your browser to run the built-in alert function. So it should be displayed. So again, let's try this again. Notice we've got our asterisk. We haven't saved it. So let's first hit save. Then let's go save as. We want to save it up here in our downloads and then save. We're going to go ahead and we're going to replace it. Now, again, we want to go back to Files. We right click, View. Oh, the page says 300. Now see, it didn't say that earlier. So you're making some right progress. You're doing everything correctly. All right, let's move on. Again, if you have questions at this point, talk to your instructor, and I'm sure they'll be able to help you with this. So we've refreshed, we've looked at it. So now let's add a new variable using the addition. So now we're using the arithmetic operators here. And we're going to find the number of people and dogs in his team. So let's think about this. We're going to change the script. So we go back here. And we're just going to delete that. I'm going to hit enter, give me a little space here. Now, we want to do a variable. Again, notice which letters we have capitalized. We got the space here. 2 plus, I did minus plus 1. Oops. Hitting the wrong buttons. Okay, there we go. Now, we need to do an alert for it to display. So again, let's look and see what we're putting here. We're putting in the command alert. Then from there, we're putting in parentheses. And then we're putting the name that we see right above it. But again, if I left that misspelled, this would not work, but it would because it'd be looking for a totally different one. And since I didn't put the S on there, again, it would not work. So there we go. And then we close it with the semicolon. Now again, we can go down here. We can go save as. We want to save it as variables, HTML, save. Yes, I want to replace. Go back here again to my files, right click view. Now it didn't say how many team members, it didn't show 2 plus 1. It actually did the math for you. And again, this is powerful. This is where your computer and your programming, your JavaScript is starting to come together and work out. Let's click OK. Now, we're going to close that one. We're going to close that one. We're back here on our text page. Okay, so let's create a variable using the operator to store text in your variable. But don't forget, you need the double quotation marks around the text. So let's see, again, we're still working with this. We're still doing some variables. You should be following along with this as I type this in. It's great practice, and you'd be amazed at how much it'll help you down the road as we do this. All right, so we've put in a variable, put in the keyword variable so that we know what it is. We did the variable name. So now we're going to put in our alert. We have our parentheses. Notice there's no space here. Isn't that interesting how we're using spaces elsewhere? And then we close it with our semicolon. Again, we can go save as, variables, save, OK. We go to our files, we right click, view. Now it says the Bond Brothers. So much you could do with this. And I think you're going to really be fascinated with some of the future projects we have using these variables and operators like this. All right, I need to take my dog outside again. Apologize for the interruption. We're going to move on here a little faster now. So take a break and come back. Be ready. We got a lot to do yet. Again, if you have questions, let us know.